The air is hard in the pleasant odor of new shoes as a crew of 16 craftsmen slow and diligently do safari boots. In every couple take 2 weeks to make of begin to complete, you can never blame the Courteney shoe business of racing things. Instead of the industry, one of the planet's largest exceptional shoes brands, now makes fair 18 pairs of hand boots and shoes a date. Based in 1991 in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe's other town, Courteney continues to be a uncommon industry successful history in a nation whose economics has struggled much above the history 20-year. With exotics play leathers such as alligator, water buffalo, Behemoth, and Strauss, its boots stay lot in consumer demand about the planet. The business was set up by man and woman crew John and Storm Rees. John had begun manufacturing shoes in the UK in 1953 while elderly 15 he began work for UK shoes business Clarks. His career later took him to southward Africa, up driving to Zimbabwe. The pair ran the industry along for 21 years before John died in 2012. With later Storm has led the business on their own. Looking behind on the previous days of Courteney she says how she and John invented a Roman way to contribute the industry. Law at the start we done boots for all the so-known safari operators in Zimbabwe and southward Africa complimentary of accusation, and brought largest of them ourselves, says Storm. Same safari operators would carry the boots time out in the bush in their across the sea clients, and they assigned us, speech of Cha. The holidaymakers would later discover shops in Zimbabwe and southward Africa to buy their own pairs of Courteney boots to get household in them at the end of their vacations. In rotate they would encourage them to their friends, who would location orders of across the sea. Zimbabwe's big business farmers, characteristically white Zimbabweans, as well became ecstatic purchasers of the boots. Storm adds, we had 3 major customers, the bounty hunter, the farm, and the visitor. The business grew firmly before the economical and policy collapse how begun in Zimbabwe in 2000 saw the business Mississippi largest of its regional customers. At first, lot of the whites farmers leftward the nation, and later visitor arrivals rejected dramatically. To pull through Storm concentrated on growing supply, that rose of 50% to present's 85% of full turnover. Of the really start we ever designed to try to do our boots accessible to our alcove marketplace all above the planet, she says. Or it is fair as so how we did include how policy. With 2000 Zimbabwe has degraded to nearly the verge of crash. To once now it has been the instance, exportable or dead. In world stockists consisting gun companies such as John Rigby and Wesley Richards, Storm says how 70% of its turnover are now via the web, in 20% of how some via Courteney's own website. Each couple of its $145 to $492, $105 to £355, boots and shoes are done to procedure at the business's little seminar, and Storm says how the business will never growth manufacture over 30 pairs per date, so as to support quality assurance monitoring. I completely pursue how policy, she says. I would say down there are several factors to our export successful, but by far the largest essential is concentrating on manufacturing the top, largest convenient, and lasting shoe probable largest of our focus goes on receive the food law. Accounting the reality how all is done to procedure, she adds, we are manufacturers not retailers. We can tie up equity by compliance stockpile, and particularly not each styling, in each skin, in each color. Funga Tererau, a briefcase officer at Southward Africa-based Invest Foundation Rudy Arias Equity Control, says how a key question any Zimbabwe business has to surmount is the reality how the nation is landlocked. A equitable sum of the challenges florid by Zimbabwe-based exporting countries are about the reality how the nation's a landlocked nation, so if yours customers are half through the planet you substantially include to supply the consumer goods in 2 legs how occasionally triples or quadruples the sum of office work how one has to transactions in, but as well the conduct times. Fortunately, Mr. Tererau adds how at the identical period the web has been a play converter for exporting countries love Zimbabwe. It is now a lot facilitating for manufacturers to make in a fair in period vogue, as opposed to house up stocks how may or may not go above the following 3, 6, or 9 months. It allows them to achieve greater future flung markets that they usually could not include available. Storm says how out of a question our open secret to creature a success exporting country is relation. She adds, navigation across the sea smoothly conducted a lot of communicating and forbearance and focus to part. Time national turnover are slow growing once again with ex-CEO Robert Mugabe obedient behind in November. Storm says it is yet not lightweight to be a industry in Zimbabwe. Lifetime is really hard there, but we select to attention on the favorable and hold our heads downward. We aware which we include to make.